Fox 61 Breaking News now.
And we're following breaking news here at 6. The Inspector General's office told us more than an hour ago that a woman died in the custody of Waterbury police. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. Officials say Nicole Houellette was pronounced dead on April 23rd. Police arrested her a month before on drug charges. Officers say Houellette told them she consumed drugs before she was arrested. Shortly after being jailed, they say she began throwing up.
Now, the Inspector General says police offered to take her to the hospital, but she said no. A day later, they say they found Houellette unresponsive in her cell. She was taken to the hospital on March 23rd and died a month later. An autopsy is underway, and her cause of death is listed as pending further study. All right, to our other top story now, which is also in Waterbury. Shots rang out on two streets less than a mile and a half from each other, and one man died. Police are investigating those shootings separately.
And we first want to take you to Easton Avenue, where the deadly shooting happened before most people were even awake. Fox 61's Celine Arif has been at the scene for hours and shares what we know so far. Celine.
Hi guys, good evening from Easton Avenue. We are out here where earlier today investigators and police were working for about 10 hours behind me here to try to piece together their crime scene. And earlier in the day we talked to a gentleman who was on his way to work, but he tells us that he actually heard the deadly shot ring out from his house behind me here.
Like I heard a pile, I was like hiding, like I was doing that, you know, to protect. And when you hear a shot, you duck and cover. I was like duck and cover.
That's Alton Ebron, who we caught on his way into work. Hours earlier, he was at home, not fully asleep yet, when he heard the deadly shot go off.
I looked out my window of my house and I seen like these police vehicles. I said, what is going on? I said, the city just gets crazier by the day. That's all I can say.
While police had the street blocked off, investigators photographed and printed this blue Hyundai where the victim was found dead inside from a gunshot wound. Police haven't shared the victim's name or other details, but say he was an adult male.
My father-in-law is by the building over there. I'm surprised, man. My condolences for the family. Yeah, it's sad. You know?
When Oscar Machado heard the news, he was worried about students at Jonathan Reed Elementary School, which is just a minute away from the crime scene.
The school right there, you know, it's dangerous. Kids come to school early in the morning. You know, it's sad.
The crime scene was still blocked off while school buses dropped children off back home in the afternoon. Right before noon, the victim's body was carried away from the crime scene. And then, about an hour later, police wrapped up the scene and had the car towed away.
Man, it's devastating that it's still happening, you know? It's time for a change. These people, man, it's a lot of good people in Waterbury, a lot of good people.
Jeffrey Mitchell grew up in Waterbury and lived in this neighborhood for years. He just moved back here after being away for years. He says Waterbury wasn't always like this. Mitchell says when he was growing up, people solved their conflicts without guns. Now, Waterbury police are not releasing more information at this time, but of course they are asking anyone with information on this case to come forward, and we will keep you posted once we find out more here from Easton Avenue. For now, live in Waterbury, Celine Arif, Fox 61.
Thank you so much, Celine. Well, right now, a community in Beacon Falls is left in disbelief after police say a husband confessed to killing his wife. And that husband was in court earlier today. Fox 61's Victoria Anderson walks us through why the judge has now increased his bond.
Police set the bond at $1 million. The court does not feel that is sufficient.
44-year-old Adam Drodowski is now locked up on a $2 million bond. The judge who oversaw Drodowski's arraignment cited mental health concerns based on conversations police say they had with him. Prosecutors said Drodowski called police around 11:45 Tuesday morning and said that he killed someone in his house. They said he told police that he lost his mind. Prosecutors said the victim was his wife. Members of the victim's family were in court. They did not speak to reporters after the hearing.
He was nice, she was nice, and I used to see them walking around here.
Neighbor Walter Dunn told us the couple was quiet and kept to themselves mostly, except for one run-in with police.
You know, I think there was a welfare check that was kind of not and done in the most cooperative fashion on his part or their part.
Court records show that Drozdowski has previous pending charges from December. One for interfering with an officer, another is a felony charge for injuring a police animal.
Ever since she was little, she's been coming here. I thought it was a safe area. I'm absolutely shocked.
Sharon Herman says her daughter spent a lot of time in the small neighborhood off South Main Street.
Prayers for the family. I just can't believe it.
Neighbors tell us they are still trying to make sense of the tragedy.
You know, Beacon Falls isn't, I can't think of the last time there was anything in murder in Beacon Falls. We don't even have a bank here, okay? You can't even rob a bank in Beacon Falls.
Drozdowski's next court appearance is scheduled for Monday, May 11th in Beacon Falls. Victoria Anderson, Fox 61.
Well, right now, Newtown police are looking for a missing 1-year-old girl. A silver alert has been issued for Blue McGrath. Police say Blue has brown hair, blue eyes, and is around 24 pounds. They say Blue is likely with her father, 33-year-old Brennan McGrath, who they say has been uncooperative with police and DCF and is now in violation of a temporary child custody order. Investigators say McGrath may be driving a white Lexus or a blue McLaren. Contact Newtown Police if you know anything. All right, over to the weather now. You can see some rain passing through the new London Harbor right now. Really, no matter where you were in the state today, you saw at least a little bit of drizzle, and I saw a good bit more than that. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here now with an update on the rain. Rach?
Yeah, we're not quite done yet. There are some breaks in the action, though, before rain fills back in again overnight tonight. So here's what the radar looks like right now. So if you're in New Haven, Fairfield, Litchfield counties, the steady rain has taken a break, we'll say, and you're just seeing areas of mist and drizzle. But we still have some showers here across parts of Hartford, Tolland, and also New London counties. So again, misty, drizzly, dreary, but not any steady measurable rain once we get through this batch that comes through until later tonight. So notice here's that break that we were talking about, 7 o'clock. Maybe that break continues. But as we head towards the news at 10 and 11, we could still see some additional showers. Any early showers around daybreak in southeastern Connecticut? This is 5 a.m. Break for sunshine. It turns out to be a really beautiful day before more rain returns this weekend. We'll talk about the timing of that coming up.
Much, Rachel. Well, a 19-year-old from Waterbury is now being held on a $2 million bond tonight and is charged with murder following a shooting from 2 years ago. Police extradited Desire Atkin from Pennsylvania last week. Waterbury police say back in January of 2024, Keena Williams was discovered with a gunshot wound to the head. That's after the car he was driving drove through the parking lot of Birdie's restaurant in the backyard of a nearby home. Williams died a few days later. Atkin is now the second person charged in connection with his death. Angela Bodden Mitchell is the other suspect who is currently serving a 27-year sentence.
Waterbury police are also investigating shots fired outside Grand Street Tavern around 12:45 this morning. Officers say a group of people got into a brief, isolated fight. Detectives say they found several shell casings on Grand Street. Police tell us they didn't find any victims, and they say no one has talked to them about it.
And a cold case involving a missing person nearly 25 years ago was now solved using DNA analysis. Investigators say Brian Cranfield and another man drowned in Vermont while fishing on a boat back in 2001. Officials found the man's body at the Bellow Falls Dam back in 2021, but couldn't find Cranfield's. Fast forward to 2006, a human skull was found on the banks of the Connecticut River in Haddam. It was stored at the Connecticut office of the chief state medical examiner, but wasn't tested until this past August. Detectives say those results indicated the remains could be Cranfield's, so they took DNA samples from his brother, and just last Saturday, it was confirmed those remains were Cranfield.
The state officials identified a Colchester man who they say died from a medical emergency at Airline Trail State Park in Hebron a few days ago. Police say a bystander performed CPR on 77-year-old Christopher Hawkins before first responders got there. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Investigators say they believe there's no criminal aspect to his death.
CNN founder Ted Turner died today at the age of 87. Turner Enterprises made the announcement. At this time, they didn't say what caused his death, but back in 2018, Turner said he had a progressive brain disorder called Lewy body dementia. He was hospitalized last year with pneumonia. Turner launched CNN on June 1st, 1980, and it was the first 24 all-news network and, of course, revolutionized the industry. He was also behind other popular channels like Cartoon Network. Beyond TV, Turner was also a philanthropist and environmentalist. A public memorial is set to be announced at a later date.
Well, 3 people were evacuated from the hantavirus-hit cruise ship yesterday, currently anchored off the coast of West Africa. Authorities are rushing to trace anyone who may have come into contact with the virus.
3 people have died in the suspected outbreak, and several others have fallen ill. Brian Abel reports.
A new case of hantavirus Wednesday, bringing the total to 8, 3 confirmed and 5 suspected. The latest is another passenger previously aboard the MV Hondius and now being treated at a Swiss hospital, according to the country's health ministry.
Your typical Caribbean cruise is not going to set you up for a hantavirus outbreak. Remember, this was visiting remote islands off of South America and Africa.
Meanwhile, local politicians are wrangling over the plan for the ship to dock at the Canary Islands, a Spanish archipelago.
Taking a vessel that is anchored off the outskirts of the port of Praia in Cape Verde, where it can be attended to and triaged right there, and sailing it 3 days to the Canary Islands to do the same thing there simply makes no sense.
From there, the almost 150 passengers on board would be repatriated. While the rare disease is typically caused by contact with infected rodent droppings or urine, health authorities confirmed this outbreak was caused by the Andes strain, which previously has had limited human-to-human spread.
There is one strain that does spread from person to person, but even there, you have to have very close contact for a long period of time.
The World Health Organization has emphasized that the outbreak does not pose a wider public health risk, but they are rushing to complete contact tracing to contain the outbreak. Brian Abel, Fox 61.
Brantford firefighters say an electrical failure caused a nail salon to catch fire this morning. Employees of Nail Expressions were met with smoke and flames when they arrived for work. Crews were able to put it out without anyone getting hurt. Now, because the nail salon is located in a commercial strip, firefighters said a beauty salon named Master Shears next door had smoke damage. That salon is temporarily closed. Officials didn't say how bad the damage is at Nail Expressions.